We have been working together for the last 8 years, developing the ability to decode with sound the meaning of what's going on in people's bodies. We can use specific frequencies delivered via tuning forks to identify areas of imbalance in the body. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our journey, how we found ourselves together.
Can I say something?
Of course.
We believe that basically being aware of what the message, the exact message that the body is trying to tell us, you know, what does it mean if my estrogen is too high? What does this allergy to, I don't know, cats versus dogs versus milk, what does that mean? What does it mean if I am anemic? What does it mean if I do not absorb vitamin B2? There is an emotional meaning and a very specific message with each vitamin. What does it mean that I have the MTHFR mutation? Actually, there is a very specific emotional message with that as well. You know, so it's very important that a lot of people that are kind of taking lots of B vitamins, but B vitamins are very much about living in the moment without planning anything, kind of like an animal, right? Grounded. So sometimes when we have a mutation where we're not metabolizing B vitamins very well and we're taking them every day, especially in our stressful day, how do you think that our body will react? We're taking a message about living in the moment on a day that maybe we're not ready to be in the moment. So that's why, you know, these messages are very important.
So you may wonder, what attracted us to tuning forks? How did we come about all of this? My background, I'm an MD PhD. I am board certified in otolaryngology, ear, nose, and throat, head and neck surgery. I do allergy, I do sleep medicine, I do a lot of different things within that realm. What changed my life and my career was my own health issue. I woke up one Sunday morning with a headache, had a grand mal seizure by the end of the day, had a neurosurgeon standing over me. I had a tumor in my brain. He was standing on the left side of my bed. He knew I was a doctor. He was showing me a CT scan with the tumor, and I kept looking at it saying, I'm sorry, I can't see that. Because the area that was impacted was my visual cortex. I had no perception of anything on the left side of my body. Okay. So he said, well, we're gonna have to go in there and take it out. So he did. It turned out it was an abscess, an organism called Peptostreptococcus, a common bacteria found in your mouth. They put me on high-dose antibiotics and high-dose steroids to get this swelling down in hopes of my vision coming back. But I was struggling. I was practicing in Oklahoma at the time and had a good friend that was a Native American. He showed up at my door with a cedar flute in his hand. He handed me the flute and said, Greg, this is your flute. This is not like a normal flute. This is a medicine man's flute. If you'll play this, you will heal. And I believed him. So I did. And I did. And I did. So because I'm a surgeon, I had to get my privileges back. I had to go up and have my visual fields mapped to prove that I had adequate vision to perform the surgery safely. So I go up to the University of Oklahoma. They put me in the machine to check my visual fields. I walk out with the test. I hand it to the neuro-ophthalmologist. He looks at that and he goes, well, that can't be right. Let's do that again. Puts me back in the machine. Do it all again. And the report says, well, that's just like the first one. So what's the problem? He says, the problem is there is no problem. You had a neurosurgeon in your brain. You had an abscess with bacteria that should have destroyed permanently some of the function. And I can find absolutely no deficits in the vision. I thanked him for being so thorough that God spoke to me in that moment. You've been given a gift. I had lots of people praying for me. And I recognized that was part of it, so it wasn't my own faith. But I think it was God trying to get my attention to pay attention to sound. I thought I knew how the body worked, being an MD, PhD. Okay? So I started studying sound in various ways and forms, and then I met this woman.
Yes, so I actually went to the University of Chemistry, Industrial Chemistry in Milan, Italy, following what my parents wanted me to do. And I realized that's not really what I wanted to do. And I switched into languages. And I knew that at some point I wanted to be a translator. but I didn't know what kind of translator until today. You know, I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I am a translator. You know, I realized that, you know, I use tuning forks, and when I activate the tuning fork next to a person's body, I can pick up, you know, what's going on with the body. Not only on a physiological chemistry kind of sense, but also emotional. And then I found out that, you know, everything that's going on, whether our zinc is too high or too low, or, you know, whether our insulin and how we process insulin, how our allergies work, they all have all of these vibrations that I hear in the body share the exact same vibration of a very specific message, right? So I thought, oh, that's interesting. Let's go into the doctor's office, because we have a bunch of like mercury vials of mercury, aluminum, lead, zinc. We have like cytomegalovirus and E. coli. And I thought, well, they might have a different vibration that I never heard before. But in reality, all of these pathogens and toxins share the exact same vibration also of a very specific emotion. So when we find that people have mercury toxicity versus aluminum toxicity, the people that have aluminum toxicity is generally there's a resistance or a fear or something that we don't know. And the message is to learn to trust. Trust in ourselves, trust in God, trust in life, trust in what is coming, everything that's coming in our path is exactly what is supposed to, we're supposed to learn something. With Mercury, it's a lot about anger and frustration. So, you know, I was working with a mother of 2 children, they've both been vaccinated by the same doctor, same hospital, same exact thing. By the time they were 5 and 6 years old, one had high mercury toxicity, and the other one with the same kind of vaccines, only high aluminum toxicity. And when I found out about what was going on when they were born and before in gestations, then I understood why one child was holding on to the mercury and the other one to the aluminum.